Welcome back to the Remember Their Name series, in which we're featuring the Connecticut witch trials, because Salem is so well known and Connecticut witch trials were kind of buried underneath there because it wasn't, as big. There were 46 accused, 11 executed. We're starting from the beginning with Alyse Young. Now, there's so much contradictory information out there and so much, not known about her, which is awful, but, Connecticut record keeping, go figure. So what we do know, what I was able to find, was that Alyse was born in the 1600s in Nottinghamshire, England. At that point, she was married, we believe, prior to leaving England. The records show on the boat that Alyse and a John were sailing to the new colonies. The last names are not listed, but Alyse and John were married. John was a carpenter. He bought many parcels of land, farming, agricultural, wood. And then he bought another parcel across from the the Farmington River. Now this is in Windsor, Connecticut. At that time, in 1641, Alyse gave birth to little Alyse. And moving forward, we will be referring to her as little Alyse, just to make sure there is no confusion there. And at some point, a massive influenza hit. It was in 1647. Noble families had so many of their children elderly pass. The death rate quadrupled within a year. Now, Alyse, they believed, had knowledge of herbs, tonics, and I'm not going to say potions because that leads to witchcraft, but medicinal items that can help. So all these noble families got together, and this is all a legend. They believed they wanted a scapegoat. So they believed that Alyse, with all of her knowledge, not losing her child, like John, like the minister, his name was John Warham. He lost 2 children, and the town doctor, Bray, I'm not going to be able to say this last name, so I'm trying my best. Rosister. He also lost a child. Now, for a doctor and noble families to lose children while Alyse is at home, her husband's a carpenter, doing farming, everything, they didn't lose their child. Allegedly looking for a scapegoat. They think the noble families got together and pointed the finger, said Alyse must be a witch. Here's where it really gets blurry, because there are no documentations of her arrest warrant, her trial, or anything about her execution. I've dug and dug and dug. There's no information. But what we do know is that, unfortunately, she was hung on May 26, 1647, when little Alyse was only 6 years old. And the only reason we know this today is because of the 2 statements made from diaries from John Winthrop Sr., who was the governor of Connecticut at that time, and Matthew Grant. But Matthew Grant's diary wasn't found until much later. John Winthrop Sr., his diary stated one blank, and there is a blank there in that statement. There's no name. Of Windsor arraigned and executed in Hartford. And that's Hartford Gallows. The second record listing, her name was not found until the late 19th century when they found the diary of Matthew. And it did state Alyse Young was hanged May 26, 1647. But unfortunately, it does not stop there. With little Alyse, she was only 6 years old when her mother was convicted and hung for witchcraft. Now, little Alyse went on to marry Simon Bowman. She had 2 sons, and Simon was a plant and landowner. Now, from what I found, she, like I said, had 2 children and went on to marry in Windsor and settled there. 30 years later, little Alice was charged with witchcraft. After this, she was not executed. Whether she was found guilty or not, we don't know, but she was not executed. Later on, Thomas Bowman, the son of little Alice, sued another man for slander for specifically stating his mother was a witch, and he looked like one as well. And that very well could be where we get the saying, like mother like daughter, like father like son. But that is what I have for Alyse Young. It's very unfortunate Connecticut did not keep proper records of the individuals that were murdered, essentially, because they knew herbs and tonics. So my next step is going to be to, I am going to try to find the area where they have the memorial, which is pretty much bricks across from a CVS, and I believe it's Windsor. I'm not too far from there. I don't believe that's enough to honor them, but people do leave roses for their deceased family members, and I think that's beautiful. With that being said, I will be moving on to the next in line for the Connecticut witch trials. And I don't have her name right now. I'm going to start my research. But I will try to get there myself, to the square. I've seen pictures of it. It's bricks with little names on them saying this person was executed on this date. And it's not enough. Connecticut, do better. Their lives mattered then, their lives matter now. Let's pay some respect and give them something besides a frickin' brick. I'll talk to you guys soon. Much love. Cheers.